Jenny Siegel fell in love with sports when she was just a little girl. At home, she'd sit in front of the TV in the family room with her dad and watch her beloved Denver Broncos. It was a ritual that took place most every Sunday in the fall and winter at the Siegels. It was a very special time for Jenny and her dad. They both treasure, even today. Now, as a 27-year-old young woman, Jenny still has that same passion for her Broncos. All Colorado teams for that matter. But where Jenny watches those games these days is a far cry from the comfort of her family's home. You see, Jenny Siegel is now an associate producer at Altitude Sports in Denver, Colorado. For Jenny and her co-workers, every day is game day, not just Sundays. Instead of bantering back and forth with dear old dad, Jenny and her TV crew analyze, dissect, then deliver the latest info on the Nuggets, Rockies, Avalanche, and other sports contests and events that take place daily in Colorado and surrounding Rocky Mountain states. Jenny has worked hard to earn the admiration and respect of her co-workers. However, their respect goes far beyond her ability to wrangle a group of former jocks, jock wannabes, and from time to time some working world-class athletes who call Denver home. You see, Jenny has a disability. When she was just 9 months old, she had her first bout with the flu. Unfortunately, her own antibodies mistook her spinal cord in her lower neck for the flu virus and attacked it. Almost overnight, this tiny, healthy baby was almost completely paralyzed. But thanks to her loving mother and years of intense and grueling physical therapy, Jenny regained modest upper body mobility. Fortunately, her monumental strength of spirit and determination far outweighed that of the limited physical abilities she regained. Even though Jenny spends almost every waking hour of the day in her power wheelchair, she is doing what she's dreamed of doing since a little girl, tracking the victories and defeats of her beloved Colorado teams. Now, she's getting paid to do so. Whether barking orders in the control room or attending to the last-minute prep in the studio, Jenny counts on her chair to move her from point A to point B. Jenny, like thousands of other Americans with disabilities, counts on her power wheelchair for the freedom and independence they need to live active, productive, and tax-paying lives. She also now counts her modified minivan as an invaluable tool that furthers her ability to be independent and employed. However, getting a wheelchair that will adequately satisfy the needs of individuals with disabilities like Jenny is getting tougher and tougher. It seems as though each year federal funding that assists the people with disabilities to acquire power and manual wheelchairs is being cut more and more. Access for people with significant physical and functional disabilities to appropriate power and manual wheelchairs has decreased significantly over the past few years. But for funding to be restored to reasonable levels and access to the right equipment maintained, changes in Washington, D.C. must be made. That's why on Tuesday, April 27, 2010, Jenny and her mom Barbara packed up, made their way to Denver's International Airport, and headed east for Washington, D.C. Their final destination, the 2010 Complex Rehabilitation, Education, and Legislative Forum to be held in D.C. For 3 days, more than 150 complex rehab technology professionals and individuals with disabilities descended on D.C. with the goal of delivering their message to as many legislators as possible. From all across America, they came, ready to explain to those inside the Beltway that their hopes and dreams are no different than those of most every American.
I have multiple sclerosis, or MS as it's commonly called. I've also been in a couple automobile accidents and have some other issues as well. But I rely on the Permobile chair that I have here and the assistive technology, or the complex rehab technology, basically, to do my everyday types of things in my life.
Tomorrow I'll be going to Capitol Hill to talk to Congress and state representatives about my case and other people's cases. Mine is that I did have to pay for my wheelchair out of pocket. I want them to understand the difficulties that we go through in order to get parts and wheelchairs and accessories like wheels, rims, back, seats, cushions, and the wheelchair itself.
On the morning of April 29th, Jenny and the others arrived by bus at the bottom of Capitol Hill. All speedily made their way to meeting with members of Congress and their staff, all amply armed with reasons why legislative changes regarding access to complex rehabilitation equipment and Medicare's methods of funding are long overdue. One of Jenny's meetings was with her own representative, Mike Coffey. Unfortunately, Coffey was unable to attend, but his legislative aide was cordial and attentive. Jenny, her mom, and complex rehab industry representatives carefully explained the difficulties disabled individuals have navigating the current red tape of governmental agencies. They chronicled the challenges of getting the proper wheelchairs and seating systems to meet the diagnosed needs of disabled individuals. The crux of the problem is the fact complex rehab technology remains categorized with all durable medical equipment, better known as DME. This makes for abuses of the current system and poor patient evaluation and recommendations. Stories describing both scenarios demonstrate how the people with disabilities are often stuck with equipment that does not work nor gain them independence. With each meeting, the message of change and a separate benefits category for complex rehab equipment is hammered home by Jenny, her mom, and industry professionals. For the most part, their audience gets it. Little by little, they understand the need of creating a new benefits category. For many, the turning point is when Jenny and the other self-advocates with disabilities tell their stories. Each one shares the frustration of delays, rejections, ill-fitting equipment, and their personal moments of despair. Even with their obvious disappointments in the system, the positive spirit of Jenny and her cohorts is intoxicating. Most are all simply requesting a little help to maintain their freedom, independence, and self-worth. At the end of the day, they are ordinary people with extraordinary obstacles. They have chosen not to let get in their way of living a full, wonderful, and fulfilling life. They inspire and they amaze. They deserve our support.
Funding provided by NARTS, the National Registry of Rehabilitation Technology Suppliers. For additional information about CELA and the Complex Rehab Technology separate benefit category under Medicare, visit www.nrrts.org.